Maybe next time.
SSX Tricky for everyone. Survive the ride. Online only at PlayStation 2. EA Sports.
Jeez Louise, slow your roll, SSX.
Big.
Hey everybody, welcome. Wow, that's the wrong one. Hold on. It won't turn down. There it is. Jeez.
You're trying to make it big.
Oh my Lord. Big. Hey everybody, welcome to Play Retro. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Johnson, and I just got some big air off that hill. I hope that means a lot of fireworks for me. Just don't burn down the forest up here. It's a no-burn zone. Anyway, this music is funky. Where's DJ Atomica when I need him? Maybe he can tell me about what to expect on the slopes today. Or maybe he's busy this week doing Burnout Paradise stuff. Either way, EA Big.
Big. Oh, and I'm your other host, Brian Dunaway. Not quite as big, and it is indeed tricky to do the worm on a snowboard 10 meters in the air after an icy launch while shoving your opponent into a snowbank in a downhill race to see who can avoid face planting, all while avoiding eye contact with David Arquette's white guy afro. Big.
Oh my gosh, is that really David Arquette? Is that real?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a whole Lucy Liu, David Arquette, all those guys.
I knew about Lucy Liu, but I had no idea David Arquette was in there.
Macy Gray. Oh, yeah. Eddie is David Arquette. Doesn't sound like him, though, but we'll get to that.
No.
There's all kinds of interesting crap about this game. I love this.
What's funny is I played Eddie most of the time. I didn't know that was him the whole time, including this week. I had no idea.
I didn't know it either until I watched the PlayStation 2 bonus features, and I was like, oh.
Who's that fella right there? Well, that's David Arquette. TV and films, David Arquette.
Yeah, boyfriend to Courtney Cox in the Friend show, right? Is that
married for a while, and then
that's right,
divorced.
And Scream, remember Scream?
Yeah, and then the bug, the spider one. What was that called?
Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia.
No, eight-legged freaks.
Oh, yeah, eight-legged freaks. You're right. I always get those two mixed up. But yeah, that's your guy. That's your man. He's your pal. He's your friend. All right, we're going to move on and do all this in a minute. But before we get to SSX and the entire series, by the way, we're going to talk about SSX. We're going to talk about 2. We're going to talk about Tricky. And then we're going to talk about 3. We'll even talk about how I'm confused because I thought Tricky was the last one. It not only wasn't the last one, it's one I hadn't mentioned yet, but it's also before 3, which is crazy because I thought it was the other way around. I didn't know.
Right. Yeah. And we're also getting deep into which one's better, 2 or 3, Tricky or 3, because there's people have opinions on this.
Yep, and they're all wrong if they don't say 3, because 3 is the best. But we'll get to all that.
Oh, they're all wrong if they don't say it's tricky
to rock around on time. That's right, it's tricky. Hey,
thanks, Daryl Run MC
Hammer.
MC.
Hey, so let's get to a couple things that happened during the week. I had no time for anything retro related. I just swamped week, all kinds of stuff going on the home front, so I just did not have a lot of time. However, one of the things I had planned on doing was digging into, I mean, other than doing a show with you on Monday, because we had to bump till Monday. So we have 2 Play Retros this week. If anyone noticed that. But I was excited about Konami doing this re-release. We talked about it months ago, re-release of Ninja 5.0, a GBA classic from Konami, was coming to Steam.
So
they're going to re-release it.
It's Ninja 5.0, so it's not Vanilla Ice doing his Go Ninja in a Mustang.
Ninja 5.0, right? Ninja 5.0 he used to sing. No, it's not that. No, it's definitely not that. Man, he sucks. He's not good, is he?
Rip Van Winkle, come on.
Anyway, so aside,
Van Winkle.
Ninja 5.0 is amazing, though. Great little action ninja game. It's as silly as it sounds with the 5.0 thing. He's basically, solving crime as a ninja. And it's a side-scrolling, shoot-'em-up, beat-'em-up thing that I just absolutely loved back in the day. It's underrated and underknown about. So when they said, hey, we're doing a re-release, we're going to make this, we're up-res it, bring it to PC and maybe other stuff. Aren't you excited? And I said, hell yeah, I'm excited. I'll buy that day one. It comes out. It is an absolute waste of your money. And let me tell you why.
Oh, no.
$24, $24.99.
Right.
For a game that is that old. And you might say, well, yeah, but they're going to up-res it and give me some features and do some. No, they didn't do any of that. It is basically a ROM stretched to fill your screen. Nothing done to it. Like trash conversion. It's bad, and I'm mad at Konami for doing this. You pachinko-loving buttholes.
Should you be mad at Konami or limited run games? A lot of people are really mad at those guys right now.
Did they do the work on it? Did they do?
They did the work. They're the ones who designed it or did the thing, right?
The conversion, yeah. And there's a lot of companies that do that stuff, and that's fine. Vicarious Visions used to do a lot of that. There's other companies that do it. I get that you need a middleman. It's not Konami Central doing it, but Konami, it's your fault for hiring them if you knew they were bad. I blame all of you. You're all bad people. Right. And you should take that back and redo that and get it straight, because Ninja 5.0 deserves better, man. That's all I'm saying. All right?
Okay, limited run games is having a moment right now where they've really upset some people, and so some people are really kind of questioning their quality and maybe their dedication to quality. And I think they've been really pushing some stuff, so I don't think Konami approached them. I think it's the opposite. So I guess we'll find out, like we was talking pre-show about the history of the bird. History will reveal who is responsible.
That's right. If you're not a patron, you missed out on our middle finger history discussion.
So good. Yeah. Oh, I learned so much.
You know what? I will share with the live audience or the final folks here this photo of the first known photograph of the bird.
Look how he's resting on. So we're looking at like a 1920s baseball team, and we got a dude with a really rad mustache, and he's resting his bird finger on who I assume is his best buddy.
Yeah,
right?
Probably a fellow player, someone he likes.
Yeah, he's got his hand on one shoulder, and he's
so the Boston Bean Eaters, and this was apparently a bird thrown at the Giants who they were playing.
Where's the guy looking at this next
dude?
He's
so
sad.
Not
even looking at the cameraman. It's like, oh, over here, dude. Over here, look at me.
Where has my computer gone? That's his face. Yeah, I love this kind of stuff. This guy up here looks like I shouldn't have eaten that cheese. That's what he looks like.
Oh, dude.
But anyway,
stadium hot dogs are a bad idea for 9 innings. So
freaking love this stuff though. But Brian, unlike me, got up to some real retro this week. So what'd you do?
Oh yeah. We did. So I knew I was going to be hopping between consoles this week because I played Tricky, SSX Tricky. I played that on the GameCube growing up, so I wanted to get that experience. But you only can get the first SSX on the PS2. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to hop between systems. So I had to break out my PS2 and put in and complete the soft mod that I was working on, which is the Fast Mick Boot card. It's a little memory card. I bought mine I had mine pre-packaged. You can make your own, but you have to have a Fast Boot card.
Hey, what's that flashing light? Is that the PS2 or is that the memory card flashing? What is that?
So I got two components here to make this function the way I was going to do it, which this is not one. This is one before they started doing the hard drives. It has the bay actually, but it does not have a hard drive in it. So I needed some place to put my ISOs because I didn't have a hard drive. So I went with the Fast McBoot pre-made memory card. You put in here, allows it to boot up through like a soft mod, so it automatically boots up that way. And then this is an SD card reader that goes into the mem card. So I just pop this little SD card out, throw it in my computer, put my ISOs on it, and throw it back in. Or ideally, which is what I was wanting to do, because I do have the original SSX for this, but my CD-ROM Blu-ray drive needs some adjustments on the laser pot. So put my ISO in here and fired up my my SSX original and played that this week using all the real hardware, because I will tell you, this game, if you're going to emulate the original SSX this week, you're going to have trouble unless you got a rocking machine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of slowdown. It was not optimized. It was a released. It was at time the PS2 release, it was one of the first releases that came out. So that's why I did that. But that's what I wanted to talk about, the mod, the Fast Mick Boot, in this little card here, which I think is.
Oh, you cut out your audio. I don't know if you did that on purpose.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
I did
You're
not
back.
mean to.
You're back.
It was right next to the other camera. The SD card reader is the MX45IO. Is that right? Something like that. Anyway, there you go.
Nice.
So that's what I got up to this week.
Sexy, dude.
And it was a lot of work too. And I'll tell you what, man, it's a soft mod, but you got to know stuff about OPL, which is like a manager thing that manages all your games and artwork. And It was a trick, man. It took me a little bit. It was way more complicated than the flippy drive that I talked about last week, which is a hard mod.
It's a lot of work just to play.
It's a lot of work.
Play freaking SSX. I'm impressed. You know?
It really is, considering that we just did our other show on Monday. We only had, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to really play these games.
True.
And man, I had to get my Xbox out too to play the last one. I didn't have to.
Oh, what a nightmare getting that Xbox out. What a pain in the butt.
It was heavy. That was actually one of the easier mods.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I got to this week.
That's great.
A little PS2 love.
Let me tell you how I played that game. I tried to play the PS2 version on an emulator, and it had a terrible time, like you said.
It was terrible.
I gave up. Yeah. PS2 games are hard to emulate anyway, that weird chip and everything. So I quit doing that, and I jumped over to Dolphin and played a little bit of Tricky, but mostly 3. Because
which runs great on Dolphin.
Oh, it's so good. Yep. It's so good on there. And the GameCube version is the one I played back in the day, too. Just played it to death.
Yeah.
Again, this is not another attempt to fight anyone about whether 3 or trickier is better.
Fight!
3 is so good, dude.
But I mean, we are going to get into it a little bit more, but I'll just say this real quick about the battle between the two. I think it's fine if you like either one of them. They're so different. They're both snowboarding games. They both have a lot of the same characters, but it's such a different vibe for both of them.
Yeah.
I don't fault anybody for loving the arcadey, over-the-top vibe of Tricky versus 3, which is also radical, but just in a more chill way, right? It's a little more chill.
Sure.
It's not in your face.
The late 90s, early 2000s form of radical was pretty embodied in this game, and we're going to talk all about it. So strap in. It's time for SSX.
Yes, strap on your snowboard.
Strap it on.
Shall we play a game?
Big.
I hope Jamie still captures stuff from us. Strap it on and big.
Strap it on and big, baby. Yeah. How bad? What's wrong with your pants?
Big.
Okay, cool.
Big.
Hey, so we're going to talk about this in depth. SSX got it day one when it launched for the PlayStation 2. As you said, it was kind of a timed exclusive.
Launch title.
Yeah, launch title.
Launch title.
And it was Wait, was it a launch day title?
Yeah, came out there was a handful of games, and it was a launch title.
I think I waited a little while like an idiot. I don't know what I ended up buying that day. Whatever I bought for launch, it wasn't that. And I should have, because it's one of my favorite games of all time, or favorite series of all time. Basically, here's my belief. Okay, it's not entirely true because Tony Hawk was still going strong. Right, we still had some meat on that bone, but SSX kind of stole some thunder from the extreme sports titles that were things like Tony Hawk and the BMX Matt Hoffman thing and all that other stuff. It is kind of an heir to all of that. And it was also EA's attempt to say, hey, what if we had a sub-label? We call it EA Big, and it's all these like bombastic, over-the-top, arcadified stuff that would, after this, we'd get the street soccer thing, FIFA Street, it was called, NFL Street. I think there were sequels to NFL, at least. Maybe FIFA got a sequel too. I think there was a baseball game in development, never ended up happening. But it was like their attempt to kind of say, hey, like NFL Blitz, NBA Jam, that world, we're bringing that back, and we're doing it in this 3D world now, and we're on these new consoles, and we're going to be the guys that dominate that. And they kind of did. Like, it was a huge hit for EA, especially that first game, which sounded a little something like this.
Welcome to the first stop on the SSX Deadly Descent road trip. Thought we'd kick things off right here at home, and there's no better place to do it than the Rockies.
So lots of dumb jokes and, hey man, it's getting some pretty sick air, man, like that kind of talk. But it is what it is. It's this fast-paced, downhill, graphical showcase, man. It was just like, what the F am I watching?
I don't know what video you're watching. This is like what, SSX 2012 or something?
No,
or when is this?
This is SS. You're right. This is that 2012 remake reissue.
Yeah. I was about to say, because I was about to say, ooh, that's not the version I played. Damn, you must have got a good version.
It's also widescreen, which is totally wrong. Hold on.
Right.
Is that even a thing you can still get? Can you still get that 2012 thing? Is that still
I actually played the 2012 thing. I have it on my PS3, and I launched it too, but I didn't play it very long because I didn't want to get confused. Because we were trying to do this. We're considering this basically the SSX 1 through 3 because there's a lot of things change after 3 that to kind of separate the SSX series.
Right.
But there you go. That's the one I played.
This is what you're used to seeing. But I still say this is a beautiful
Still
game
good.
for its time. And
Absolutely.
at the time, I thought nothing will ever move this fast or look this good ever again. And we were wrong. There was, of course, many things that would look better than this, including future SSX games. But nobody had quite done like this. Like, oh my gosh, the tricks, the freaking explosive nature of if you're ahead, you're getting fireworks. You know, the crowd's losing their minds. The music's really good. Like, again, Tony Hawk type vibe without, with a different sport, clearly. And this game was pushing the hardware to its limits. Now, the PS2 is a powerful machine for the time, but they were doing everything like these long draw distance. They weren't fogging anything in the distance. They had audiences that were jumping. Sure, they duplicated a bunch of stuff, but that was like the biggest slowdowns is when you would try to pass near the audience, there would just be this. Even on my PS2, there were still slowdowns because of it. Very ambitious for a launch title, but that is Steve Rexshafer in a nutshell. This guy only works at places. I watched some interviews with him. He only works at places that have a culture of yes. Once they start saying no, he leaves and moves on and does more stuff. As a matter of fact, he was he's the one who helped lay the groundwork for the Olympic snowboarding competitions and some of the that's
actually
cool.
appears here. Yeah, and he was doing stuff like during the really radical era of the 90s when we were doing the extreme sports when it first hit Fox. And so he's just kind of always moved to the next place that allows him to do whatever the crap he wants to do. And it really shows here.
Yeah.
It's like is a kind of a jump. It's
it really
kind of a
is.
Jump.
Real quick, I'm going to show some video from 1080 snowboarding for the N64. Prior to SSX, this game was the new standard for downhill, racing on a snowboard. And I feel like EA kind of went, well, that went real good for them. Why don't we take that to the next level? Because Nintendo kind of let it languish. They had a sequel on GameCube, but it wasn't anywhere nearly as good as the first game. A little like Wave Race. I feel like the same thing happened to that. We talked about this before, but SSX came in and said, we're giving you all the attitude that a game like this was missing. And again, I loved 1080. It was this Zen experience. There's a bunch of games out now that kind of do this. There's a new game called Shredders that everyone's raving about on Steam.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
It's supposed to be the spiritual successor to all this kind of stuff. There's also one what was the name of the one you and I were talking about that I actually bought it?
It's on that. It's down in the list here. It is Tricky Madness.
Tricky Madness. That's it. Is that it?
On Steam now.
I bought that. They're obviously they're wearing their inspiration right there on their sleeve, right?
In the name and everything.
Yeah, there ain't goofing around with that. And it is they've captured that vibe. Now it's very early. It doesn't have 90% of their features. It's just got the basic racing model, and the graphics look fine and all that, and the control model and stuff. But it's very impressive for a very early look at the thing, and I think that thing's headed places. And it's also reviews on it are really good. People are digging it.
Yeah.
So I think
I grew up with I played more 1080. I didn't play very much of the SSX series until this week, and I played the shit out of it. But Steve Rexshafer was he was a snowboarder back in the day, so I think maybe he brought some of that. How all the gravity worked, and he talked a little bit about some interviews I watched with him, and it does feel a lot. It felt like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but now on snowboards.
Yeah,
because you had a real expert in the room, right?
Yeah, it's good to have somebody. I think I think you can feel it too. You can tell that these titles aren't just thrown together. These aren't just like, hey, you could probably make it feel like a snowboard game. Like there's more to it. And I appreciate that personally. I think that's what I want out of this shit. Yeah. You know what else I want? Collectibles. Tons of them. I want alternate routes. Tons of them. Like, I want that kind of experience where, yes, there's the racing. Yes, there's the time attack. Yes, there's all the things that you like to do. But there's a ton of crap to collect and do and get. Essentially, you can, it's not quite the same as achievements these days, but you essentially had a ton of stuff you could unlock and do because it was all just there.
You got characters. This is one of the first one you had characters that were locked. You had outfit choices. You had board choices that you could make. Your riders are pretty cool. I tried to play as Mac. He's one of the characters that appears through at least the first three that we looked at this week, and he's like 15 or something, and he's not a strong boarder, and you'll find out because when you play these games, you have to go, you do racing or show off. There's a couple of different ways you can play it, or single races. But if you're doing the championship part of it, you've got to do the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. And by the time you get to the finals, it gets tough. It gets really tough. As a matter of fact, you don't really see the other characters doing many elbows, kind of like road rash style, until you get to the finals, and then those guys are just like knocking you off the board.
Giant dicks later. Sure,
they're giant floating boarding dicks is what they are. They're just bunch of jerks.
Yeah, don't want to spend much time with them on a personal level. But the other thing I like, this guy's doing it right here. There's big gaps you can skip if you're good at it. He's not. Very good
you're rewarded for it. Yeah, you just not. It's not like a Forza Horizon or something where you got to go through checkpoints and stuff. There are checkpoint races, but for the most part, it's just like, find the fastest path down. If that means snowing in some deep snow for a couple hundred meters, then do it. Do it.
Oh, look at this tube. The journey through the urethra. Look at this. That's the other thing I liked, is it was a little unrealistic, right? Like there was
so unrealistic.
A lot of stuff going on where you're like, okay, video game, what do you think you're doing here? I
watched a little bit of the real snowboarding and the Olympics, just kind of get an idea of how it differed. And man, it feels like humans are have concrete blocks in their feet. They just don't bounce. I mean, if you play this game for a little bit, you start imagining that everybody has this, huge 8-foot, vertical or something whenever they do little hops and stuff. Nope. They're humans, and they barely come off the ground even. And so there's a lot of liberties here with how
floaty everyone is. I'm not good. Yeah, to me, it's like, again, it's the Tony Hawk conceit. There's an adherence to the vibe of the sport, but it remembers it's a video game. And I know there are going to be people that say, well, Skate's the perfect combo because you can do some crazy, stupid stuff in Skate, but it also stays kind of grounded. The way the tricks work are a little bit more grounded and more simulation-ish. But personally, if I want to play a snowboarding game, I need it to be wackadoo. I don't want
me too.
Boring ass. I don't want technical challenge. I want challenge, but you know what I'm trying to say? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, there's it's kind of like when you try to take a picture of the moon when you go outside. So you take your camera outside and you take a picture of the moon, you come back inside, you're like, why is the moon so tiny? Because there's this focus of vision with your naked eye that changes when you put it on a 2D medium. And so this game makes me feel like you would feel on the slopes when you got your headphones on and you're jamming music. It gives me that feeling in a 2-dimensional plane. Yeah, so
for sure,
it's about the vibe, like you said. It's you vibe me out, baby.
They nail the vibe. They nail the vibe. The music's great. That's by the way, if you notice today, I'm not going to play a lot of audio from gameplay. It's because the music is all copyrighted and will get us freaking banned. So I'm not doing it.
Yeah. The first one's not as bad. They didn't do as much licensing music in it, but by the time you get to Tricky, I mean, there's tons of licensed music in there, and 3 is nothing but licensed music
and the best game and the best one. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's arguable. But I played a lot of Elise. She's one of my favorites, and I also played Kaori, also one of my favorites. Did you have a favorite character that just kind of spoke to you when you were playing this?
Not really. In fact, it's funny you say that because I feel this way in most of these games. I don't really, unless they let me create a character. I'm more invested if they let me make my own and then apply some stats to them. But I don't care about either fake or famous characters to the point where I forgot all these people. They're just, to me, they're just bodies on a board, and I don't know why. I don't know why I'm that way with this. I'm that way with Tony Hawk as well. Even when I play Tony himself, I'm like, whatever. I'm doing tricks, and I don't care that much. Like I think
especially when you're just playing like on the surface level, when a couple ways to play this game, you can either be seriously hardcore about it, or you can kind of be casual. You can just hop on and ride down a little bit. They'll reward you. They'll keep you, caught up with the other players. You won't get too far behind. But once you get playing a little deeper, I find that certain borders are a little bit better. I find Elise always someone I can just jump right in on, and because she's a nice rounded player, she upgrades well. You got your edging, your speed, stability, and tricks.
Yeah.
And I never really ever got too far for unlocking the other characters, like Hero or Jurgen or any of those guys. But yeah,
and they didn't really have any. They
okay.
didn't get into the whole guest character thing the way that Tony Hawk did, if I remember right. They weren't like into like, hey, it's Master Chief on a board or whatever.
None of these are real. None of these are real characters like Tony Hawk, right?
Yeah,
So
but I mean, even in like Tricky and 3 rather,
right?
They didn't. I don't think they did that stuff.
No, you have no real snowboarders in
or
this.
even
Maybe
guess. I mean, they didn't put Spider-Man on a snowboard. Is what I'm saying.
They actually there are some a few hidden unlockables. I'm not trying to remember which ones they are, but there are a few hidden.
But it's not like big license stuff, right?
No, not like anything that you get super excited about. You'd have to be pretty snowboard
it's not
nerd.
Like Chewbacca on a snowboard or something like that. That'd be cool.
Oh no, dude, that would be amazing. And it feels like all the way down. So, that'd be awesome.
I did the 1080. Wait, that's none of this sounds like Chewbacca that we just did.
No, where's the Chewbacca? We need a professional Chewbacca impersonator.
It's freaking embarrassing, man.
Right. Peter Mayhew would be so disappointed in me. Got to meet him one time. He's really tall.
I did too. It's in the Salt Lake City Comic-Con. He was, I mean, he's tall because you've heard it, but he is massively tall.
He's massively. You really have to be there to appreciate it. It's like, oh, you are a big fella, aren't you?
Like 7 feet something.
Yeah.
Really tall. It ended up shortening his life because when you're that tall, you got problems, man. It's not good.
You can't. The blood won't reach your feet where your heart exists.
Yeah,
right? Right?
Something like
how's
that.
Anatomy. How does anatomy work?
Well, Dr. Dunaway, I think that perhaps back to school with you. I'm thinking. All right.
So Elise is my favorite. She's a BX rider. So you got freestyle BX and Alpine style riders, so they kind of all have their own abilities to have different tricks and stuff. And we didn't even talk about the trick meter. That's one of the greatest things about this game.
So good.
Is heating up your trick meter by perform some simple tricks, and then you can pull off some really sick tricks later on once your meter gets built up. And that's kind of like part of the magic of this game is it's kind of like racing games. Any racing game where you're building up like, you got to drift so you can build up some turbo. That makes sense.
You know what's broken about this game, though, is load times.
Adrenaline.
Some of the worst load times I've ever seen in a game that we've covered. The load times are atrociously bad.
Yeah, these readers are what, like, this is early on, like maybe 2-4x, maybe not even that. This is like the first device you would have had as a DVD player. Don't forget the PS2 was pushing stuff forward, like, why am I going to get a PS2? Well, duh, because it's also a DVD player, and I was planning on getting one. So why not get both?
That helped their sales a lot. They sold a lot more.
It really did.
Yep, sure did.
But like you said, there's this load speeds are pretty rough. I think I'm going to argue that the PlayStation 1 had much worse load speeds.
Well, that's true.
This is not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just. No, whatever. Today we're spoiled. The stuff loads so fast now, and with MVNE and all, MVNE. What is it? Whatever it is. The SSD, the SSD technology for quick loads. I forgot the name of the load tech, but it's NMV. Shit, someone in the chat will know. But anyway, whatever that is, we've been spoiled by that. We get like instantaneous loads into stuff. The current gen of consoles does it. PCs have them now. Like, I don't want to go back ever to that slow time. And emulation, the problem with emulation is you got to sit through some load times because that's just how it does it. You're emulating the load times as well as you are the game. So
you want that full experience. It's emulation. That's what it's supposed to do. And I kind of appreciate it because it gives you an idea and a look into problem solving for these game developers. It's like, okay, we got to do a load screen here. What do we do? Do we give them some cool artwork to look at? Do we kind of throw some looping music in there? And so I like those creative decisions based on restrictions, and it's always fun for me to look at. Doesn't bother me
from our perspective. It's actually good. I just was reminded that they used to be pretty bad.
It used to be work.
Yeah, it used to be. You could go to the kitchen, get some food, come back. Might be loaded by the time you get back, And they weren't the only one. They all had trouble. The whole generation was slow, but whatever.
That's right. Now, you said you liked 3. So did you like the first one in Tricky, how you visited different mountains, and did you have like a snowy peak that was your favorite? Like, Or was you just familiar with Snow Dream because that's the one that you start with?
Not really a favorite. This one he's on right now in this video, I forgot what it's called. This one that's the city. Does it say somewhere? Let's see.
Yeah, is this Tokyo Megaplex?
I think it is Tokyo Megaplex. I think that was the coolest idea at the time, that you had this bustling metropolis.
Right.
That you could ski around because the snow was so bad they converted the city into a track for snowboard racing. And look, there's like a bus that can't get out and cars stuck in the snow. Like there's an apocalyptic quality to this map that I always really, it just rang my bells.
And you know what's great about the human spirit? No matter how bad it gets and apocalyptic it gets, you're always going to find somebody boarding it. It's like, hey, you know what'd be really cool?
Yeah,
I think I could board right down this disaster and the dead bodies poking up.
Yeah, I could grind on this bus full of 30 corpses or whoever died here or whatever. Also, this guy knows where this little secret is. You're not supposed to know where this is.
Oh, yeah. Love them. This game definitely rewards you for exploration. I also found this one and tricky to an extent interesting in the snow coloring, because especially the first one, it seems like it's really dark in a lot of areas because the snow is so blinding.
It's really white.
So they made the snow kind of like this dirty
gray,
dirty pea yellow in some places and chunky, just
it's nasty snow, but it works to calm down the glare of it all. I think it's it was a functional problem or functional solution to a problem that was kind of weird, but I love that about
so this actually, after watching it a little longer, this looks more like was it Mercury City? So this is more urban. I don't think this is.
It's not the Tokyo one.
I don't think it's the Tokyo one. I could be wrong.
Could have sworn it was, but it doesn't matter.
This is the show off mode, which is great. I love doing the show off mode. This game always allows you to be constantly progressing, so you still get points towards unlockables and things when you're doing this. Practice is the only time you don't get anything.
I found it very zen like this game, and all these games. And when they have a mode where like show off mode's basically that mode, but it's basically a zen mode where you're just left to your own devices. There's no other borders on the track. You're just trying to best your own scores or whatever. There's something about just gliding around town.
Yeah,
sliding on shit.
Hitting some rails. Because that's about the only time I can do it, because I get too anxious when I have other players on the track with to hit the rails too much. But I do like grinding the rails.
When Brian says grind the rails, he doesn't mean snort cocaine. Okay, everybody?
Don't I?
Don't I? Do you? Can you? Have you?
Right. Don't I?
Donut. Anyway, that's the game. It's pretty awesome.
Right.
I think if I had to pick a character I would always default to, it was Moby Jones.
Moby's pretty cool. I like Moby's style. He's kind of an everyman. He's also a good rounded character. I feel like at least it's maybe a little bit easier to learn, but he's like parallel to her.
I think I was really into Moby the musician at the time. And
I
thought it was cool to choose Moby. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now
I'm choosing Moby.
Now I don't know why
I
gave a crap, but whatever. Moby's fine.
You got to pick somebody. You can't make your own characters. You can't name your own characters, so you might as well go with somebody cool like Moby.
All right. Well, that game set the tone for what would come next, and what would come next.
It's funny. We talked a lot about the first one, and it really is the least of the series. It really just kind of laid the groundwork
by far.
It's the worst. Going to be amazing.
Yeah. I shouldn't say the worst. It's by far the most
bland.
Throw it away when you're done, but it needed to happen.
Yeah.
Like you wrote in here, lays this groundwork. We don't have the series without it, so it's important.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was like, my mind is blown. And then when you played Tricky and Forward, you were like, oh, my mind is less blown by one. We were all heading this direction, and this is so much better now. So it actually got
to get you prepared. It was actually Tricky was only to it was really just looking at doing we were still having trouble understanding what true success was with some of these games. It's like, oh, we want to do some more content, so we're going to do SSX 1.5. And Tricky wasn't even meant to be a full thing until they just kind of kept hammering at it until they made its own thing. It's practically a reskin with just some really good improvements.
Remember when it's like Unreal Tournament was supposed to be a add-on? It was a multiplayer add-on to the main game, and they were like, "Wait, there's enough here for a full game." It's kind of what.
Let's just do it a full game. Let's do it.
Yeah, 2 is great. Or sorry, I keep saying 2. Tricky is great. Now, here's my problem with Tricky. All right, now we can get into this beef a little bit.
All right,
Tricky. Tricky, it's a big beef. The Tricky's fine. I just don't think the formula was as refined as it would be until 3. Now, my brain says that there was a 2. I know there isn't, but there was like a straight up number 2 sequel, then 3, then Tricky. And I think where I got confused, dude, was this, because later on GameCube in 05 they got SSX on Tour, and I think I had that in my head as that was Tricky, and that's a long thing in my head.
But it makes sense though, because what typically happens with naming, you don't usually go from this is the first one and now we're going to have a second one with some kind of weird name. You usually just go 2 because you want people to know this is a continuation. So you don't want to confuse people. So it is kind of odd that they went with SSX Tricky. For number 2.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
A Tricky number 2. That's what they did there.
A Tricky number 2. I have that all the time. But Run DMC, I was already a big fan of Run DMC from the late 80s. This was part of what their third studio album is Tricky, and we got the one of the DJs from some Beastie Boys albums, and he remixed Tricky and laid the groundwork for the whole attitude and mood that was the flavor of SSX Tricky.
Yeah, from then on it would kind of hold like that. 3 definitely benefited from it as well. But I'm not, so I guess what I want to say about Tricky is that you've got better graphics and sound. That was noticeable to me, even though I was having a really hard time getting this to run. Initially.
Interesting.
I moved to a different platform and it was better then. But
very good.
That being GameCube. GameCube's just easier to emulate. I think everybody knows that.
It really is. I mean, the emulation is just, it's just the Dolphin emulator is just a solid emulator. It's just really good.
It seems to me, from what I've read, like even that team would struggle with PS2 emulate. The chip in that thing wasn't the Emotion Engine or whatever the hell they called it.
That
may have been 3, but either way, the PS3 and PS2 both had these custom chips that were just hard to develop for, tricky to work with, all that kind of stuff. And this was very evident this week when I was trying to get these to run. I mean, it's the world's most popular console by sales to this day. And yet our emulation efforts have been garbage. Maybe Sony planned it that way. I don't know.
They did. You got to remember at the time, when they released the PS1, there was a huge market for almost immediately for hardware mods. And so Sony really started fighting that almost immediately. And they continued to do that in the PS2 era. As a matter of fact, there's it's like 8 revisions of the PS2. In addition to it being a very popular seller, they were also just trying to always tweak things, always staying just a step ahead of the hackers. So they want to make it kind of a little bit obscure. And so the emulation becomes complicated. But that's the reason why I modded my PS2, because I was like, this will be the easiest way to do it. So get yourself a fast McBoot. Get you a PS2 fat, and just throw it on there, and it emulates just fine.
I need to do that. That would be really fun. Real quick here, my favorite part of Tricky, I'm going to show you some video. All right, there's no sound of this because it'll get us banned, but here you go. Watch this. This. Give me newbie. This character just went from newbie to rookie rank. Okay.
Ooh.
So look how stoked he is. Watch this. Hold on, it's coming. Here we go. Look at the hand. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh shit,
that's Mac. Oh yeah, he's back again.
He's
back again.
What do you call that when you're spinning record? What's that called?
He's tricky. Yeah. He's a DC mix. He's a DJ. He's a DJ.
Yeah. What's that term called? When you
wiki whack.
The wiki there's a word for that. Scratching. He's doing scratching.
Oh, he's scratching. Oh, I didn't get that. Okay. All right. Yeah. I got you.
I knew there was a word for it. But man, it's so like, there was the new metal era. You got your freaking Limp Bizkit bullshit going on.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's
a good time for that stuff.
I like I said, I typically, the GameCube version, I would fire it up and I'd always either pick Eddie or Elise. That was the first two characters on the carousel of character picking. Do you remember that little screen where you like?
I do.
They're all on like this rotating carousel. You kind of pick your character.
It's like a lazy Susan of character.
A
picking.
lazy Susan of character collecting. Absolutely.
Yep.
And so I liked Marisol and Sia. That was Macy Gray. I didn't know that until this week. I knew she had a cool vibe going on, but
that's
I didn't realize it was
wild.
Macy Gray.
Wild.
Is it
Macy
though?
Gray, yeah. Crazy.
And I love all of these. I love the JP does like this running man in the carousel. Everybody's sitting in their own positions of relaxing before being picked.
Yep.
Which they did also in the 1080 series and stuff too. But the one that cracks me up the most, if you scroll around, everybody's kind of sitting back towards the center of the lazy Susan in their little benches and stuff, waiting to be picked until you get around to Simon. Simon is P-S-Y-M-O-N. He's crazy, right? He's a little tatted. He's got, chains all over him. So everybody else is kind of sitting and chilling, relax, especially Brody. But Simon is in your face.
Yeah,
he is like, hold on a second. Let me see if I can I pull this up so that you can see it?
I desire to see Simon. Show me.
Okay, so there's Kara, right? There she is. Mac is that way. Oh, there he is. Simon. He's like all up in the screen.
Oh, hold on. I got to show this. I got the wrong video. Right, there we go. Show me some. Okay.
So here's David Arquette doing his little dance here. We got Elise doing some stretches. Marisol, she's getting funky, I suppose.
Yeah.
Cia's over here doing her thing. Luther's just chilling out. We got JP doing the running man. We got Zoe just hanging out. We got Moby doing some jogging in place. Mac, he looks a little depressed.
Mac looks depressed.
Yeah, Kara is there. But then Simon.
Oh, shit, Simon. I guess
Simon's
it's probably spelled P-S-Y-M-O-N, but my guess is it's supposed to be just Simon, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah, it's supposed to be Simon. Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I love it.
But I like that too. He's like, I'm coming for you.
I'm right in here. Come on, pick me. I want to play. Come on, pick me.
Big old afro thing he's wearing and stuff. Pretty cool.
Love it.
So that is that.
Now, let's not skip past Tricky because I know you love 3, but I want to talk a little bit more about Tricky.
About Tricky. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, so you saw with the cast of characters we had a lot of the same mountains, but they were redone. There's a few additional mountains, but I mean, the music is just so good because we did have, I did mention earlier that one of the DJs who was helping do a lot of remixes and stuff on one of the Beastie Boys albums, just laid down the tracks, and they did something that was really cool and kind of unique for the time, where when you would leave, like if you did a big jump, the music was blaring like it was, stationed near you, like on the track itself or on the mountain itself. But then when you would leave to do a big jump, the music would kind of become muted, like it was further away, kind of getting that
that's right,
that distance effect. And the music would also it was a character in the game, and I loved it.
It was kind of a Doppler effect, and the higher you would go, you're right, it would kind of mute in the air, get a little muffled. And then you would hit the ground, the fireworks would happen, a crowd noise would happen, and the music would just go, wah! Like it was it's really cool. Sound design's great.
It's an emotional ride. And I love that you build up to Uber now. So I don't think you'd had an Uber in the first one. At least they didn't call it Uber, I don't think. But you build up your bar again. You're doing to do all your stunts.
They called it Lyft. It was Lyft back then. Just kidding.
Okay, I made Lyft.
It was just they just called it.
I got you.
They just called it ride sharing back in the first.
Right, ride share. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
So in this one, you build up your meter, and then you can make these really cool, radical. Everything's already unrealistic, but some of these moves are just like, you're almost flying. You're just Supermaning.
Yeah,
you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and I love the look of it. I love how it feels. Everything to me in this game, it kind of feels almost close to something like, how over the top Crazy Taxi was, but it just had that general vibe, and it felt like a world, right? It didn't feel like it felt otherworldly. It felt like a world of its own.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I think it really did a good job of that, and I think it established what would make 3 the best,
which becomes more realistic, even though it's still cornball. I mean, how do we put this? The game became it's always over the top,
But I will say the one thing about 3, and some people don't like this about 3. 3's verticality was a little toned down. Right. And I didn't mind that. I was okay with it because 2 or Tricky was a little like, hey, what if we were really basically just on drugs here, you know?
Right.
Whereas 3 was like, it's snowboarding. We're going to snowboard more. And I don't know. It's hard to explain, hard to show the difference, but it's a meaningful, if subtle, change to the series.
Right. And I dig the voice acting because we didn't get the Hollywood treatment in 3. We just had voice actors.
Yeah, it wasn't.
They still talk smack. Yeah, they still talk smack, but they did, it wasn't like.
I don't need famous people for my snowboard game though. I don't care.
Right. But Tricky brought back all the stuff like the semi-finals and finals and everything, and that progression and unlocking stuff. Like I said, it was basically the first one, just reskin, looked a lot better, and just played better overall.
It's also they had hidden minecart levels. Look at this thing that you go into. Look at this.
Oh yeah,
he fell. But anyway, yeah, you can go inside these minecart things. You can take these rails around, kind of one rail it like Indiana Jones and Half Pint. What the hell? Those water falls look like shit. Did you see that? Look like goo coming out.
Oh, it's not great. That's not great. But what it did introduce as well is they solidified the rivalry where you have people who are kind of your friends if you pick a certain character, and then you can actually make enemies on the track by pushing people, shoving them, knocking them out of your way. So
yeah, you got a little, like you said, road rash going on. It's cool.
Yeah, a little road rash. Yeah, push, shove, suck it.
Yep.
Suck it, butthole.
Suck it, butthole. Also, whenever you take off of a mountain, let's see if we can catch this coming up here. I think on this ledge, they put a Adidas. Look at that Adidas logo. I know that's not what it is, and that's not what they're trying to do. But when I played it back then, and I see it now, all I do is think of the Adidas logo. I can't freaking help it. That's just what that is.
Maybe that was a Run DMC nod for their My Adidas.
Maybe, but look at it. There it is again. So. It's like, oh my gosh, upside down Adidas logo. Shit, there it is again. I need to go buy some shoes now. Jeez. Okay, 3. Let's talk about 3. F2.
Great.
Let's get to 3. All right, not
Let's
F2.
Get to 3. This is Scott's pick. Tricky is mine, and Scott's going 3. Let's do it. Let's get into it.
This game went full open world, which is my favorite thing about it. It is like start at the top of the mountain, start going somewhere, like Burnout Paradise a little bit. Or you got to kind of free ski and then make decisions on your way down and say, oh yeah, I'll race here, or yeah, I'll do this trick course or whatever. And I just like that. So the entire mountain is explorable. And that to me felt like magic because this was the same console I played Tricky on back in the day. Yet here I am doing this way advanced, technically impossible sounding feat of let me explore the whole mountain. Yeah. That was unbelievable to me. And I loved that. I love that vibe of it. Just starting a game. If you ask by the way, all my kids are going to say the same thing. Oh, 3. Yeah, 3. Only 3.
3. Duh.
They're not even going to, it's not even an argument in our house about how good 3 is.
Right.
But I like that. No load screens, really. Right. I mean, there's load screens, but not like these between races. It was like you just flowed into a thing. Yeah. And that felt magic.
They finally understood how to design the tracks where not as much in the distance was having to be drawn, and they figured out a lot of things and made it a lot more efficient.
Yeah, which is I just think there's the technical feat is one thing, but it really added to the way you played it. And you could choose racing, freestyle, free ride, all that stuff. The deeper trick system, funny enough, a game not called Tricky had deeper tricks than Tricky did. But that makes sense. It's the third game, so why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, they figured it out. Yeah.
And I also thought that the physics, this is still 2, hold on. I thought the physics in this one just felt better to me. And it's hard to put my finger on it, but even just playing the dolphin stuff, the snow feels a little deeper. It feels like your character's got more like heft and like it's a meaty turn that you just made, or when you land in that snow, it's a And that was missing from the previous 2, in my opinion. So I really like that.
No, you're absolutely right. So there was just a few examples of types of snow that you could encounter in the first couple of ones, which made it a little more arcadey. And this one feels a little more realistic because they did add a lot of different types of snow that you could end up in, how your character moves through it. And you're right. They they feel like they sink into the snow a little bit, whereas the first couple of ones just felt like, it's the snow, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to do some tricks.
This was closer to 1080 for me. That's probably why I loved it so much, because it married the two things I liked, these two series, and it made it feel more complete. So for my money, like if they turned around tomorrow, EA, and said, "Hey, we're doing a complete remake of 3," I would literally shit my pants. I'd be so excited. Because imagine
you put your new
Imagine this.
New pants on.
Imagine this with a new engine, like a big, beautiful Unreal Engine or something. Like, damn, dude.
Well, they were working on a. So Steve Rex was doing a what was it? What's it called? Oh, I got it. I got notes here. So there was a SSX by Supernatural Studios. They were working on a new SSX, and then they got their funding pulled essentially, and now they're kind of in a holding pattern. They haven't canceled it, but they're still it just hasn't, no further development.
Probably in the Frostbite engine, if I had to guess, right? Something new.
I'm unsure. I didn't get a chance. I try not to peer outside of. I didn't realize how deep the SSX series was.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, so when I the first couple of days, all I do is just go, okay, we gotta figure out how to slice this pie. And I picked the few pieces that I'm going to really dig into, and I just pushed everything else away. So I'm not, I just saw some incidental news, and I kind of left it at that just to see where it was at.
Yeah. It looks like there was some stuff back in August of 2023 where it was confirmed he was working on, let's see, it's tricky. I'm just trying to find out what this says here. Yeah, there's nothing really here except that he's working on it.
Right.
Rex Schaefer, like you said, that things were going along nicely. Sounds like this was prior to the news that the funding got pulled. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then it just kind of, it's going to languish for a little bit, but that's fine, because you know what? SSX Tricky is backwards compatible with your PS3. So you can throw that in your PS3, get a nice little graphics boost. And this game still looks fan-freaking-tastic.
Well, if you had the right PS3, though, right? Because some of the PS3s,
right,
work.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, like the later little slide door and all. I don't think that one does it.
You'd have the early the fat one.
Always that's the thing with Sony stuff. Usually, their backwards compatibility is usually only available in the first, the first models or two. That's just Sony.
It's just the way Sony does it. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is if you're out there looking at a flea market for a console and they got a bunch of them for sale, and you're trying to get Sony stuff, look for the one that's all fat and old.
all fat and old, has tons of USB ports, and it looks scratched to hell because they use that shiny surface and everything else. Look at
3 Snow, dude. I'm telling you, look at the difference. It's such a good game.
I see, that's the thing. A lot of people feel like they got to pick either 2 or 3. I don't have to pick 2 or 3. It's just what mood I'm in. If I'm in a silly mood and just I want to hop in and just listen to David Arquette, say stupid crap, and listen to Lucy Liu say some wild off the wall stuff, and then listen to Macy Gray, do some gravelly voice stuff. I'm all about the Tricky. But then if I want to, a little different vibe, a little more muted vibe, with some really great music, I'm going SSX 3 because it's good. It looks good. It plays well.
This era for Lucy Liu would have been the Kill Bill era for her. So she was on fire.
Right.
Things are going on.
Right.
Yeah.
It was on fire.
And that stupid the Charlie's Angels remakes. She was all up in that.
Yeah.
She wasn't a problem. She wasn't the problem with those movies, by the way. She was great. I really liked her. Those movies,
now, all 3 of the games we talked about today are available to play on the PS2. It's the only system that has all the ones we've talked about today.
Yeah.
The GameCube is a nice little in between, but it doesn't have all the. Don't forget, the GameCube was the mini disc or mini DVDs, and so they don't have all the extra content that the PS2 version has. But to me, the best experience for 3 is on the Xbox. It's a faster system. It's got better graphics. And that's how I played it this week. I played the SSX 3 on my Xbox, and it was a mighty fine.
I'll bet that was really good. Yeah. What's the frame rate on the Xbox's version of 3? It was higher than the others, I thought. It's like
it was, but I don't want to say because I don't want to get it wrong.
I don't think it was full 60. It may have been 40 frames per second or something like that.
Yeah, I don't want to say because I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want no Xbox people yelling at me.
No, those guys, you don't want to fight them. They're the worst.
I don't want to fight them. The only and funny thing is, even though we had better network connectivity going forward, I think only SSX1 was the only one for the PS2 was the only one that had any type of network connectivity stuff. I didn't get to dig into it, but I did read that and I found that interesting.
Yeah, that was a thing they really touted for the platform. They made a big deal out of it at the time. I found a couple of ads for that I was thinking about using, but they're boring. They're dumb.
Yeah.
Actually, all the ads are bad. Most of the ads, they're not bad. They're just very visual. It's a lot of text on screen, big giant moves, lots of music. There isn't a lot of voice in those. So
yeah, but I do appreciate the open world, single mountain. Because that's more realistic to how a snowboarder would be. We're not globetrotters, right? I consider myself, I would be more of an amateur snowboarder who just goes to, takes my seasonal trip to the same stupid mountain, and works my way up to higher peaks until I murder myself, till I kill myself right there on the snowboard.
Till you die in the snow like you were meant to.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Bring the series back. That's all I'm saying. EA, you're sitting on money. By the way, I found this out. This is true. When Brian goes to McDonald's and orders a combo meal, they say what size, and Brian says big every time.
Big. Yeah. I do miss that. Big did only last for it was very much a thing of its time. It only lasted. It was just a brief time, and I'll tell you, I don't want to give. I've given way too much credit, and I've only name dropped one person in a huge team of people who made this series come to life. And the only reason why is because I watched the most. He's just the most interviewed person in this. That's that Steve Reckschafer, who is also the creator of the series. Even though by 3 he was more of a executive role and consulted, but for the most part, a lot of very talented people were making some things. But EA Big itself kind of faltered a little bit. Not too long after all this stuff.
After FIFA and the street games, the street football games, it all kind of went to poop, which is really unfortunate because I think that was a cool sub-label for them. Yeah. Whatever. EA's known for making dumb mistakes all the time. This is one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just one of them.
In fact, of all their mistakes, I would call this one. There you go. It's a big mistake, guys. Big mistake. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on, Brian. We got a game of our own to play.
Wait.
We got to talk about this weird ass game that no one played. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's worth a mention. 2005 kind of bumps up with what we consider Play Retro Show material, which is 20 years. So this is hasn't quite turned 20 yet. It will a little later in this year, but SSX On Tour was actually the first one that I played this week before I realized it was like number 4. It was SSX On Tour, had it on the GameCube already, just had the disc laying around. And I instantly fell in love with this pencil drawing menu system.
It's the best part of the game because the rest of it's not that good.
The rest of it sucks, but man, the menu system of all this great illustrations of hand-drawn art.
Oh yeah, dude.
And
that shit you see in there, like you're in detention with your stoner buddy, and he's drawing this on his desk.
Yes,
yeah, love it.
It is such that vibe of snowboarders, right? Of you sitting around doodling crap and it just being radical. And I was disappointed in the actual gameplay. But
the game is real weak, but you're not wrong on this intro or this interface stuff is very cool.
It is so freaking cool. And the GameCube version had Mario and Luigi in it.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. They did a lot of that back then. Remember, GameCube was like land of crossover for that. What was it? Soul Calibur 3 or 4 or whatever it was had Link in it.
Yeah.
PlayStation had Kratos and Xbox had Spawn. I think. You think? I think
Big
that's right.
Spawn.
I think it was Spawn, wasn't it?
It feels right. I could be totally wrong, but it feels right. I don't know if you're wrong or right. No.
According to my audio clip, it is definitely Spawn. Oh, I should have. When we were talking about Konami, I should have played this.
Konami
can go to hell.
Konami, right?
Made a mistake. All right. Now we can play this thing.
Look at you DJing it up over there.
Yeah, it's a wiki.
Yeah.
Brian,
Wiki.
let's play a game we made up ourselves. How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
Do that.
Destroy it.
All right, we make this thing up. We made this thing up where we play
We made this
audio
thing up.
from an old game from a yesteryear time, and we say, hey, what game is this? And we give 4 possible options. We tell you the year and the platform. Chat room, as usual, you are encouraged to take place with us, or to take place, to take part with us is what I'm trying to say.
If you're a veteran of the chat room, you know what to go ahead and start guessing now, even before we even play the clip.
That's right. So get your chop and your lifting ready, because now it's time for this. Brian,
Now
here's
is the time.
I'm going to start with mine. I'm going to give you a
What?
year, and I'm going to give you a platform. Platform's arcade.
arcade.
We did this totally independent of each other. We both chose arcade in 1991. We did not plan that.
Good year.
Yeah, it was.
year.
But we didn't plan it. We had no idea each other was doing this. I came in here today and went, what? 91? Anyway,
punk.
so same for both of us, but today, arcade 91, and you have 4 options. I'll tell you those after you hear the audio. Here you go.
This rocks.
So what you hear there, crowd, punching, all that, you're going to get a theme when I read you these options. So you're going to have kind of a bit of a choice here. Here's your options. A is that WWF WrestleFest.
Oh, the WWF. Man, the World Federation.
Wrestling Federation, correct.
Wildlife Federation.
Wildlife, yeah, the Wild Wife Federation.
Wild Wife.
B, Saturday Night Slam Masters. These are all games, by the way, real games.
Yeah.
C, WWF In Your House.
Get in my house.
Or finally, WrestleMania, the arcade game. So again, WWF WrestleFest, Saturday Night Slam Masters, WWF In Your House, or WrestleMania, the arcade game.
All right, so it's not WWF Choplifter for sure. So
I can promise you it's not that. I promise you.
These all sound like real games. Are these all real games? Did you make some of these?
No,
up?
these are all real games. Didn't make any.
All right, good. All right, so WWF In Your House. Why does that sound familiar? WrestleMania, the arcade game. I don't think it's that one. You're probably gonna be wrong. So I'm gonna say this feels like.
Oh, they're all arcade games too, by the way. If that helps. I don't know.
Very good.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna either say WWF In Your House or WWF WrestleFest, because it feels more like a WWF kind of thing. I'm gonna go with the since I'm not sure, and I got an A or a C. I'm gonna go C because that's how you take tests.
All right,
I'm going with C.
WWF In Your House. Let's see if we can see our way to a win.
In your house.
That was a loss right there.
Oh.
You chose WW in the house. It was actually WWF WrestleFest.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's almost like
It did
WrestleFest.
like a WWF vibe though.
All the Russells go every year to WrestleFest and enjoy time with other Russells.
The Rustlers.
Yeah. But yeah, you got that wrong, but only barely. You were very, very close. Nice effort. Nice try. Brian, now tee me up for my arcade.
I get quarter portions for that.
Sure.
Yes. All right.
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I also went to the arcade in 1991, but I wasn't wrestling.
Okay. I'll play this audio and see what you were doing. Here we go.
You can't escape. You will be the one escaping.
Hold on, I gotta go back.
You can't escape. You will be the one escaping.
That's really familiar.
I love that clip though, because that makes no. Play it one more time. It makes no sense.
You can't escape. You will be the one escaping.
You can't escape. You'll be the one escaping. Yeah, that seems
When I
like
heard
they're
that-
not talking to each other. They're all effed up.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, I gotta clip that.
Okay. Sounds like a fighting game or a side-scrolling beat 'em up. All right, give me my 4 possibles.
You will be the one escaping.
You'll be the one escaping. You can't escape. What kind of comeback is that? All right, here we go. We got 4 possible answers to this. Is it A, Robo Army, B, Captain America and the Avengers, C, Battletoads, or D, Captain Commando?
Oh, geez. Okay, Robo.
And you're right. It is a beat 'em up game. These are all beat 'em up games.
These are all beat 'em ups. Okay, so Robo Army, never heard of it. That doesn't sound right. And the voices were human.
Right.
Battle or Captain America and the Avengers sounds like it could be it. Battletoads. I don't remember them talking like that. I played a lot of Battletoads.
Did you remember Ribbits and stuff? Ribbit.
Captain Commando. Shit. I think it's. That was probably Captain. Excuse me, Captain America. Jeez.
So you think it was?
I think it was Captain America.
Not Bucky, right?
I was no, yeah. I don't know who.
That's
I think so. Yeah, let's go Captain America and the Avengers.
All right. Well, Scott, you be right.
Yay! Look what we did. We both won today. Oh, no, you lost. Sorry, you lost.
No, I lost.
Yeah.
I only got quarter portion. You got full.
I got full
Captain
portion.
America.
Yeah,
you got full portions.
I didn't have to share my pie with anybody. I got to eat it. Yeah, I don't. It's the only one that sounded right because it just seemed like something Captain America would say, even though what they said was so dumb.
That made zero sense to me.
Let's play it one more time just for the people in the back. Here you go.
You can't escape. You will be the one escaping.
Okay, that's him saying that to somebody else, or the other way around. Bad guy saying it to Captain America. But why is that the reply?
You'll be the one escaping. What?
That's a translation issue. It's got to be.
It's got to be.
That's effed up, man. Who made that? Konami? No.
No.
Capcom? Come on, Konami. Who made that? Who made that game?
Can't remember.
I must find out.
It was one of those weird ones. I'm like, let's see. Oh,
I feel like I need to know. Here it is.
I feel like I need to know.
The year was right. 91 October. Data East. Huh.
Ah, that's right. Oh, I forgot that was the Data East jam. That's
you know
right.
what?
It looked like a Data East game
they're,
too.
They're the guys that worked with my dad before everything went to crap. But I didn't know they ever did a licensed like IP game like this.
Yeah. But when you see it, you're like, oh yeah, that is a Data East game.
Oh, big time. That looks like they borrowed the backgrounds from another Data East game. That's what that looks like.
Yeah, they probably did.
They
we need to cover this one day. We did the other Marvel beat 'em ups, the X-Men beat 'em ups, but we need to cover.
We might need to just like take all the mediocre ones of those, and lump them into a category and go.
You reckon that Juggernaut? Oh, that's Wolverine. I thought it was Juggernaut. I thought I was going to say something about.
Is it Wolverine?
Juggernaut.
Hold on.
I think is it Wolverine in there?
I think that's Sabretooth, isn't it?
Does that say wank in the background, or does that say? Oh, it says bank. I thought it said wank. Okay.
Oh no, you're right. Who is that? Okay, that's Captain America. Looks like he's fighting Aquaman in the pants there. Claw. It's whoever Claw is. I don't know.
What?
I don't know who Claw is. So I knew who that is. Yeah.
Is it that the amalgamation of Wolverine and Batman?
Maybe. How about Living
Dark
Laser?
Claw?
Do you know who Living Laser is?
Maybe. Oh, he does like Living. That must be Living Laser. That's what that is. Looks like a Living Laser.
When you live La Vida Loca, then you live Laser. That's the order.
Living Laser.
That's ridiculous. All right, nicely done, everybody. Super fun. I love that. Okay, we're gonna welcome a game to retro, whether you people like it or not. The game entering the retro lifestyle this week is Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening, March 1st, 2005, a day that just passed us a few days ago. 20 years since Devil May Cry 3, not 2, not 1, 3!
Part 3. And by the way, I love Devil May Cry series. We need to cover that one day.
You ever play the latest one? It's very good. You should.
Yes, I have. I'm not much of it, but I'm always down to play some Devil May Cry.
Yeah,
anytime.
Devil May Cry is awesome. Also,
yeah.
Well, people were mad at him though at the time because Capcom did a lot of like paid DLC for that thing.
Oh yeah. We didn't even get into all the craziness that eventually happened with the SSX. We'll have to get that in the future though. There's plenty left of SSX on the table.
Yeah, the SSX like ads in games. There was controversy about that.
Yeah.
For some reason, all the 7-Up posters were upside down in that game in 3.
Is that a joke? 7-Up?
Same.
It's more like 7 down or L down.
Yeah, it's more like it's like some kind of. Well, that means Satan's coming or some bullshit like that. Somebody came up with. I'm sure.
No, that just means Sprite was like, "Don't put our face in there," but turn 7-Up upside down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that frown that you got on there.
Yeah.
All right. Well done, everybody. Time for this.
Welcome
to the treasure room. Time for your feedback. Both of these are phone calls, not really phone calls per se. They're voice calls, voice mails, voice
Voice
messages.
We're going to call them about voice cast. They're voice casts.
I suppose you could call them that. If you go to voicecast.app/playretro, you can leave your voicemail there or a text message. Either one works, and we're happy to have either one. So go check it out. That's the brand new thing we're doing over here, and we love this thing. Voicecast.app/playretro. We'll start with this one. This is J-Mac, and he has this to say.
When the last episode came up on my app, at first I thought, Space Ghost. What? Space Ghost has video games? I've never played a Space Ghost video game. I'd love to know if there are Space Ghost video games. Of course, it was Space Quest, so I was a little disappointed, but I don't know. Have you guys ever come across a Space Ghost video game? That would be awesome. Anyways, thanks. You guys are the best. Love listening to your show while I'm at the gym. Have a great one. J-Mac. Later.
So there was something called Space Ghost: The Quest. This is something I found. Yeah. I don't know. Actually, I have an image that will help illustrate this. Here you go.
I thought it was like a brat game as well.
It had a bunch of stuff, including, look, there's cow and chicken cow. There's, is that cow and chicken? Whoever that is up there, I don't know.
Cow and, you got it. Cow and chicken.
But on this disc was something called The Quest, and there was some Space Ghost shit on there. But there was never like a proper, as far as I know, not like a proper Space Ghost game that I could find.
And it's really topical because the voice actor for Space Ghost just passed away this past week, I believe. George Lowe.
Yeah, like a week ago.
Yeah.
Amazing voice, that guy.
Yep. So, I think it'd be a great time for some Space Ghosts. I feel like he's kind of had a little resurgence in the last couple of years.
Yeah, hell yeah. There's no games, but it could be a topic we hit, talk about Space Ghosts.
Yeah. I miss all those that era of Space Ghost, Cow and Chicken, I Am Weasel.
Mm-hmm. I mean, listen to, here's just a taste of George Lowe. Here he is. He died at age 67. That's too young. Come on now. Here he is right here. Let's just play a taste of this.
Byrne and Donny Osmond. My first guest is a most singular fellow. Please welcome David Byrne.
An amazing voice. He's so good.
If you've never watched Space Ghost, not the original cartoon that it's based off of, but the talk show, this variety of talk show having Brack on there, that is just such a great such a great chill experience.
The original Space Ghost, the original like cheesy 60s, 70s series is very good.
Yeah, with the teenagers and stuff, and all that.
It's dumb.
It's fun.
It's dumb, but it's fun. This other stuff, this parody stuff, it's a little bit like Birdman Attorney at Law is a kind of similar thing. Yeah,
it was kind of late. It's like, what do we put on Cartoon Network late at night?
Yep.
Well, let's do a talk show, and let's bring in one of the classic characters like Space Ghost.
Mm-hmm. If you've never heard Birdman, by the way, okay, if you've never watched Birdman, I should say.
It's good stuff.
I would like you to hear a little piece of Birdman. Okay,
piece of Birdman
right here.
Birdman!
That's what he used to say.
You have that like at 200% on the level.
I know, it's really loud.
Jesus, out of
it's
me.
Really
I feel like some of our listeners may have just ran off the road.
I may have edited that.
Birdman.
I edited that one poorly and kept it too high in the DBs, but
but thanks for the memories, J-Mac. You're right. There needs to be something. Like, feels like it'd be the perfect time would have been like some kind of, browser based, Space Ghost.
Oh yeah.
Throwaway game. Feels like it'd be perfect for that.
It would have been amazing, but they didn't really do it. So maybe one day, maybe Space Ghost will have a resurgence. Here's another call from Nerd Magic. He has this to say about Jersey Devil.
Hey, Play Retro friends. This is Nerd Magic. I'm just leaving you a comment about a game that I don't think you guys have mentioned yet. Jersey Devil. That was one of my all-time favorites growing up on the PlayStation. It was similar to the Spyro and the Crash Bandicoots of the time, but it was very cartoony. All the cutscenes were cartoons, very well animated, very well voiced. All silly little, pumpkin guy and skeleton monsters you go around and fighting. It was just an all-around fun game. And it was one of the first games where I noticed when you would walk on different materials, be it like hard floors or grass, and the footstep sounds would change. That was the first time I noticed that. I thought, wow, this is peak gaming right here, where it's not just the same footstep sound everywhere you go. Anyways, wonder if you guys ever played it or if you even heard about it. I'm wondering why we don't have a remaster or remake of this one either. Cheers.
All right, here it is. It is Jersey Devil. I remember it, but I never played it.
Right. Same.
How did it
Nerd
do?
Magic, same.
Was there like a...
So there was a bunch of 3D platformers that PlayStation was trying, different characters. There was the Croc series, which I think had a little more success, but a lot of these games felt similar to that. And Jersey Devil is one I saw, but I never really played. But now, after, I think this is the time. I would love to do.
It might be time to check in on it. The original rankings on it weren't very good. I'd say if you were getting this in class, this game got like a C+. It wasn't.
That is how a lot of these early PlayStation 3D platformers were. They were, they didn't really step outside the comfort zone of what those were, and there was tons of them.
Yeah.
With just mediocre reviews.
Yeah.
So
it's unfortunate. Some of this stuff gets
hard for you to
lost.
stand out.
Yeah, some of this stuff gets lost in the shuffle. Well, that's what we're here for. Sometimes we like to bring these up, and you did Nerd Magic, so thank you for bringing your magic.
Character design.
I know it's cool, right? Yeah, I like I remember this cover in the GameStops and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I never played it, but it seemed like a game.
I'd be interested in visiting. Absolutely, thank you, Nerd Magic.
Yeah, thanks, man. Totally appreciate it. That's gonna do it for that. Now, a reminder, voicecast.app/playretro. Use it on the frequent, voicecast.app/playretro.
Retro.
Our next discussion will be Zaxxon.
Zax on, Zax off. I can't wait to talk about this. This game used to blow my mind in a day and age before we got isometric, or as they called it, was it axon or whatever, the axonometric projection or wherever that thing is.
Yep.
Anyway, it was like, what are we looking at? This is totally different than everything I've played so far.
Yeah, it's awesome. Zaxxon stole many of my quarters and would not give them back, as it turns out. Let's take a little look at it here. This is the game. If you don't remember Zaxxon. So this part's fine where you're shooting in this isometric viewpoint, but what really mattered is that you ended up flying over like space station city platform things. Nobody else was doing that for these shooters.
Nobody. Yeah, I mean, everything was either side or vertical. Nothing was coming at you in this weird... It felt so three-dimensional. It felt... Yeah.
And it wasn't really, but it felt like it anyway. It didn't matter if it was or wasn't. It just felt that way. And me and my friends, dude, we were just like, you guys want to go play Zaxxon?
Play some Zaxxon?
And the answer was, yes, we do.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that next week. We're going to play some Zaxxon and some Zax off, and you guys are going to love it. That'll be next week. Patreon.com/playretros. Hey, support this show. Want to welcome Samuel Libre Poisson to the show. Yeah, brand new patron. Also, some recents like Mike P, Dan Todd. These are all great people who have joined us. They get no commercials. They get pre-show content every week and other bonus things. So come sign up today at patreon.com/playretro. All other things.
The Patreon app's really good for podcasts. I really, that's how I listen to several ones I subscribe to. It's
improved a lot
for me.
Yeah. You can move the link anywhere you want, whatever player you have. But
you could,
if you're happy in there,
you can listen to Spotify. You get the no commercials and stuff as well if you're a patron supporter. But I just like the player and Patreon. It's just so simple and basic. Just bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah, I kind of can't stand the Patreon or the
interface?
The Spotify interface. I hate it.
Oh, yeah.
For podcasts, fine for music. I don't care. But for the podcast stuff, I don't think it's very good. So, do that. Or my go-to, Pocket Cast. I love that thing.
Podcast is great.
And that works too. So check it out. Patreon.com/playretro. All else is at frogpants.com/playretro. Brian, is there any final words you want to put on this package before they let the kids open it up and have their Christmas day?
Absolutely. Get yourself a PS2 Fat and let's fast McBoot this thing.
Yeah. PS2 Fat, baby. All right.
Fact.
It's going to do it for us.
PHAT.
We'll see you later, you bunch of weirdos. Bye now.
Well. Look at you listening to me speaking to you. Find more great shows and goodies at frogpants.com. Yeah.
Big.